league from yesterday. I'm well rested now. I can work with my deck, and yeah, let's just go for it. Let's hope our opponent starts the game. Recording everything awesome. So what thing that happened is that I was recording a deck or something, and I forgot to hit record. So now I'm paranoid. And I all the time look at this and see if I'm recording or not. I don't like to do that because it makes that weird thing where it looks like an infinite mirror or something. So it looks breaks the fourth wall of it. So I prefer not to do it, but yeah, now I'm paranoid, so I want to do that. So yeah, I'm running this league basically looking if this deck is good again. I used to play this deck when Gash was legal, and Days and everything, but I only played Gash, and it was awesome. It was super strong. Now we don't have that, so finding the correct card draw spell is very difficult. I think Frantic Inventory is kind of okay. We are a kind of a control deck, so this allows us to draw a lot of cards. Another opponent, okay. Another opponent disconnected for some reason. So, yeah, I like Frantic Inventory, but I would prefer something more consistent and that doesn't rely on the graveyard, because getting hit by the random Bojuka Bug is very rough. So another option I was meditating on today was Peridot's Research. So Peridot's Research, I think, goes well in a more aggressive deck. It's a more proactive card to spell, if you will. So sacrificing a permanent means that first off, it's not a cost. So if they counter it, you don't have to sacrifice. It's an instant speed spell, so that's very important for the deck. And sacrificing a permanent means that if they target one of your creatures with a removal spell, you can cast this and kind of do negate the damage of the sacrifice. But also, you can just sacrifice a land, and this means that it's basically the same thing as a Gash in some respects. Of course, that's at all so right. I'm not saying that this works exactly as Gash, but going down lands wasn't a problem with Gash, so maybe with this deck is fine. So I'm on the mulligan and I don't want to continue mulliganing, though my opponent mulligans to 5, and I'm on the draw, so I will see more cards. I think I'm going to keep. It's a bit rough now, but it's fine. So right now, what do I need to put back? So this is an interesting situation. I kind of want my Frantic Inventories, and that's the problem with Frantic Inventories, that if I put this on the bottom, it makes my future Frantic Inventory so bad. I think I'm going to go for Counterspell, basically keeping everything that's card draw, because I need to hit my land drops. Spellscatter Sprite is like a counterspell that kind of draws a 1/1 flyer, if you will. So everything that's 2-for-1 I prefer, so I was between Scred and Counterspell, and since I'm on the draw, I prefer to have an answer to something on the board. Basically, that's my reasoning. So this is a rough matchup, especially game 1. Okay, so now we can open with Ponder or Preordain. I'm going to take a bit of time here to explain everything, because we are against an aggressive deck. So here I'm searching for land, right? So I need to dig deep to find the land. I think I prefer Preordain first, then Ponder on the next turn, because if I don't find anything with Preordain, then Ponder works very well next turn. And also, we can go, if we find another land, we can go land, Ponder, and shuffle, giving us a better Ponder. So waiting on Ponder is usually correct. There are some situations where it's not. For example, if I now have to hit mandatorily the land drop, right? Let's say they're doing mutational growth. This guy is so bad in heroic, doesn't do much. Yeah, it's hitting me for 3 now. I put a counter there, but I don't know. It looks low impact. So yeah, one option I can go for is land go. That allows me to play most of my spells. I think I want to cycle now, because playing Nash Barons is such a beating on the early game. And I have to fetch blue to cast my Ponder. So yeah, we're in a rough spot because we are versus an aggressive deck. Here I'm going to shuffle this up, I think. Yeah, it's done do enough. Okay, we draw the Frantic Inventory. It's super bad in this matchup. I might even take them out post board, and that's one of the problems also with Frantic Inventory. You can't just say and pick how many lands you want post board, because you have to play all 4 always, so that's rough. Okay, we can bolt something at least. If we go for red, bolt the Sky card, and they have Mutagenic Growth, it goes to 4, so it's bad versus Mutagenic Growth. So for that reason, I'm going to just leave interaction up. We have so many interaction spells, and they aren't putting a very high clock for against us now. Miscalculation is a hard counter versus them most of the time. All of their spells cost 1 though, so right now, for example, it's kind of rough. They have only 1 spell in hand. They are fighting this off. My guess is that they have more interaction, but since it's their only last card, I want to trade resources. So yeah, Chomanos is very rough. I wasn't expecting them to have that. I expected another Merchant's Case, something like that. It's a beating now because I can't interact with it, so I think we lose now. If they don't draw anything else, maybe we can win, like setting up a massive block versus them. Okay, that's very bad, it doesn't do much. I think I'm going to go for Agar, leaving blue up, because Bolt doesn't do anything in this board, and we want to draw like Preordain or something. Okay, so we are being very unlucky here, missing on Agar, missing on Ponder, getting hit by the worst possible answer versus our Bolt. So yeah. Also importantly is that they can go for Chomanos when we are tapped out. So even if we counter the Merchant's Cave, we weren't going to. And say, for example, end of turn we cycle the Frantic Inventory, they would go for the Chomanos. So yeah, it isn't great. So right now we are losing mostly because we are missing so many things. We have 3 blanks here, we don't want card draw right now. So these are lands and are good, but we kind of need answers, and we can't find answers because there isn't any in our deck. I'm even thinking about scooping now. I think I'm going to go for lands. I think I'll go for lands like this. Just pass the turn. Cycle the inventories. Maybe they bring in Graveyard Hide versus us if they see the inventories. I don't think so, but something that may happen. It's a good step. So they cycle and pass. They can't. I don't think they can represent lethal with most spells. Also, we have counters for them, so let's see what they go for. I kind of want to use my Spellstutter Sprite proactively too, if I can. Counters anything, I'm going to. I can't counter that because it's an ability. And they pass the turn, so I'm going to cycle now. In this situation, I'm going to leave red up because if we find a removal spell for something, it's good. Oh, of course, we already knew what there was there, so we draw the Preordain. So we have 4 mana. So we could go for Preordain now, but it doesn't really accomplish much. Just going to pass the turn now. So sadly, we don't have a Echoing Truth on the main deck, which is a good way of us answering anything from this linear deck that tries to not interact with us. even though it's card disadvantage most of the time. Here, for example, bouncing the Skyguard will be card advantage even, because we bounce the counters, the Chomanos goes to the graveyard, so on and so forth. So here I'm thinking of just blocking here. Oh, yeah, I punted again. I should have played this right, though we weren't able to win from here. Oh no. We don't have any ways of doing that. The only way we have of trading with that is just killing it with blockers, and that's a tall order. So this is all we want here. Yeah. So Electricity is for the tokens to make our curfew better. So that's our way of winning here. We are going to remove a Braid actually. Braid is very bad versus them because it's very expensive. Then we can remove either Frantic Inventory, but if we remove that we don't have anything to draw. I like Fire Eyes. Maybe we don't want two Electricities, only one is fine. We can remove like a Counterspell. Counterspell is good, of course, Solitude. But the problem it has is that it's very reactive, so they are very proactive, so they outtempo us very efficiently. So we need to have a very proactive plays. So Curfew, Echo Truth, Electricity, Fire Eyes, Lightning Bolt, Scred. These other proactive plays, right? Spellstarter, Ninja, Agropola, Seer, all the cantrips, everything is proactive, and the counters aren't proactive. They give us outs to some of the plays they might make, but I want to trim on those. I don't want to have a handful of counterspell and then just playing like 1 mana +4/+4 to my creatures or something like that, right? So something that I'm trading 2 mana for one of them, and I'm falling behind on tempo because I'm not adding anything to the board, and they are just hitting us. So one more cut. So I'm thinking Fairy Seer thing. It's not as important here. Maybe we can keep like the Abrade or remove another Fairy Seer. No, I think I'm going to remove the Abrade. I don't really like it versus them. Removal spells that are damage based are very bad versus them, but sometimes what you need to have is like multiples, so you kind of overpower what the protection spells they have. I think I'm going to keep this. This is keepable. We don't have any post-board cards, but so here I'm going to go with Ponder, and we can shuffle on our upkeep if we want to. Let's look. What do we find here? Wow, the same Ponder than we did before. Interesting. So I think I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw both lands. I'm going to put it like this. I'm going to draw the island, and then I can decide if I want another land or not. Because I can shuffle on upkeep, it's the same thing for me. They don't add anything to the board, so this means that I'm going to go for island now. And pass. We have a Preordained on top, so we don't mind drawing that. So again, we can shuffle on upkeep, but I don't want to. Draw line go, that's so bad of them. Did they keep 7? They kept 7 and they didn't have any creatures. That's very bad. They shouldn't be doing that. So here I think I'm going to go for Evolving Wilds Go. We have the Spellstutter Spite if they draw a spell. And if they don't, we can just shuffle a bunch. Yeah, I don't know what hand they kept. Doesn't make sense to me. Seems like they are very flooded now. That's fine. We can deal 4 damage, so even if they have the mutagenic growth, it dies. I'm going to fetch like this, and now 2 islands to our hand. Or maybe one on one, I think. We may need the second one to kill a very big creature. I'm going to go for land now, and actually Scred, in case they have mutagenic growth. We could go for Bolt, it's a bit more, how do you say it? There is a name for that. It's a bit more risky, a bit more greedy, because if they have the mutagenic growth, we have to counter it, and it's super bad for us. We don't want to counter that. Here I'm going to go for miscalc. This time not putting the miscalculation. Yep. Trailblazer. So we want to find a Scred or another Bolt. So this means that we can set up a flip of the Augur. We can go land Augur. We have open Lightning Bolt, Curfew, and Stutter. I like that. I'm going to go for that. If we find Scred, I'm going to go for the proactive Scred. Well, maybe not, because we can't counter it. So we go for the mountain now. So it's a bit clunky, the fact that we had to that I decided to fetch the second mountain, but against this deck we sometimes need to kill a thing twice on the same turn, if that makes sense. Like Bolt and in response Scred or something like that is very normal here, so this is just my experience now. I'm going to go for the Stutter now. I don't remember if they have like Gutshot or anything. I'm going to search for that. I actually don't remember. We have time here. This deck is very proactive and very fast. So they have 2 Gutshots on the sideboard, and that's all they have. And we have Curfew if they go for something more backbreaking. They might have like Mana Tithe too, something that they might play. If they have Gutshot, they have it. Please don't. It looks like they don't. That's awesome for us. We were able to successfully counterspell. So if they go tall on the Trailblazer, we can just Curfew it and counter it. So the token, the 1/1 token, was important for us to remove because of the Curfew. So they go in very tall, but we have the Curfew now, so we can go for Preordain, try to find interaction to counter the Trailblazer. When it comes down to it, let's see what we draw now. Fire Ice, it's fine. Grofola's and Fairy Seer, so I think I'll go bottom. Another Bolt. So we can go for Curfew, and when they go for the Sentinel Size on their turn. Oh, I'm an idiot. I can Curfew and return the Stutter, so they can't go for the Trailblazer. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. We also have an additional Lightning Bolt up if we need to. So I'm going to wait until they attack or cast another spell. I'm thinking of even blocking. Scathe. Let this resolve now, I think. It has rebound though, so I'm going to go for it now. So we can counter it on the way down, and the Scathe fizzles, so they don't have the rebound, even if they can counter our Sprite somehow. They go for it, which is weird. I don't normally advise this if they don't have an answer to the Sprite. they don't, and they pass the turn. So that was just a misplay on them, I think. And our sprite is awesome. We can counter everything in the deck, basically. So we only care about creatures. The biggest problem they could have is like a Sacred Cat. But yeah, we're going to go for this now. You can even try to kill it, but just using our sprite is better, so we can put a bit more pressure. We want to find a ninja now to just seal the deal, or a counterspell here that would also seal the deal. So yeah, the way this matchup works is something like that. Another thing that we could do is like try to kill their creatures a lot with multiple bolts. So bolt is obviously worse than Scrat here, but it's better than a Braid. So I kept bolt. Fire Ice can kill a couple of tokens, and they have a couple of tokens. Also, they have the Provoke guy that's very rough for our fairies and for our blockers. Okay, so they are taking their time now. I don't know what they could be thinking about. They don't have a lot of interaction. So Electric is super bad here. I'm going to go for Ponder. Try to find another sprite or something. Going to shuffle now. We don't need that many lands. Here, I think I'm going to go for the ninja. If they draw another creature, we have multiple removal spells for it. If they draw like a Lagona, it's very bad for us. Okay, so right now we have one turn where we go shields down. They don't have it. That's awesome. They lose. So there we had the option of either going for the shields down moment or just pass with mana up, even though we don't have anything. But they seem to just play things on onto our creatures and counter spells, so they didn't care. So counterspell was, as you saw, good in the late game and super bad in the early game. That's why I want a couple, but not all of them. I think Electricity looked very bad. They didn't seem to have a lot of... maybe they didn't draw, but if you look at here, the cards, they have Deathblade Elite, Secret Cat that they probably take out. This, when they triggered, the Electricity works. This list only has one Seeker of the Way. In the past they ran like 4. Cartouche also puts 1/1s, and they might have like Beacon Aberration or something like that. Maybe this guy, no, I don't think they were getting that guy in. Another option is Swirling Sandstorm as a way to clean up tokens, but I don't like that. I think I'm going to go for this. So we were lucky they didn't draw their answer to Spread Stutter. Okay, so this hand is kind of mediocre. We're on the draw and we don't have any interaction, but we have 2 cantrips, so this basically means that we have like one of the best 3 cards on our deck, you know, something like that, if you will. Okay, Fire Ice seems good right now because they have a 1/1. If they go for an aura, maybe we can't kill it. Okay, so now I'm going to go bottom with just 1 lands, I think, an interaction, so island is good. Let's just hope they don't go land aura on the Deathblade Elite because we don't have an answer to that. We do have an answer to that though, and I think I'm going to go for it. They might have Mutagenic Growth, and the way that they sequence it looks like it. But even if they do, we kill one of their creatures. I should go again because, okay. Yeah, awesome. We are super far ahead now. I mean, not far ahead, but we are not falling behind. So this matchup is very tempo oriented. So we want to not fall behind. I'm going to go for preordain. Let's see if we can find something. We can go for draw ninja and set a ponder for the ogre. I don't think I like it. I'm going to go bottom and play the ogre. We have bolt now. I'm going to go for the bolt and play the evolving wilds, and this is because they didn't have mutagenic growth on the first turn. So this means that we are kind of in a good situation. They probably will not have an answer to that either. So the problem with heroic is that it's vulnerable to removal. Yeah, that's basically it. I think I'm going to go for brainstorm main phase. If we find interaction, we can go for that. We don't. We are going to put, and this is a trick I like to do, is just put the worst card you can flip with Augur of Bolas. They're a spread we wanted, and Frantic Inventory is kind of okay. So you put the worst card that you have in your hand on top. So first off, you show less information because they know we have Frantic Inventory doesn't do much. And secondly, if we find something else that's more important, then we can go for that too. So I'm going to go for Augur now. Let's see what we can draw. Normally I try to go for card draw first in case we find a ninja or something. Here I'm not going to go for an aggressive ninja, I don't think. Maybe we do because we don't have interaction nonetheless. So curfew is great, I'm going to keep it. Play the island so we can cycle the inventory and hit for 1. So we have to manage this curfew in a way that gives us the best way of winning. So curfew in this deck in fairies is super good because all of your creatures are value creatures, so bouncing them normally is fine. But against slow decks, okay, I don't care about that. So against the slow decks, we just want to be as proactive as possible, and curfew is very reactive. But bouncing one of your spellstutter sprite is fine, you know. I'm going to go for, let's see. I think I'm going to let no, if this resolves, then they have the other comma trick, the Karametra's Blazing. So I think I'm going to go for Scrating Response. They will have an interaction here, probably. They don't. Awesome. Great. So the thing I was thinking of is that we can go for Bolt, and if they have like a Immersion Scathe or something, we can we can let the Ethereal Armor resolve and let all the auras that they play resolve, and then play the. So I forgot about this. I should have think about this before. I should do this now in case we draw a ninja. Okay. So that was a misplay on my part. I'm going to go for the Evolving Wilds. I don't think it's going to be necessary that we have all of an interaction open. They don't have anything though, so that's great. I think the cycling is miscalc. Doesn't do much for us now, right now. Ninja's great now. We are going to ninja them. We could go for the double ninja, but I want to just draw interaction, draw counter spells, basically. Awesome. So we can go for the Augur of Bolas. Yeah, I'm going to go for the Augur, but giving up curfew and counterspell in case they resolve something. So what cards they know we have? These are already played, so they only know about Ponder. Awesome. So yeah, we kind of just won this game now. Let's go for the Ponder. More ninjas. We kind of won them. we can leave a lot of interaction because we have so much mana. So as you saw there, Beacon Apparition is not good versus us. Just if you're deciding if you want to play this Beacon Apparition card in your deck, please reconsider if it's good for you. Like, against our deck, the only card that it hits is the Frantic Inventory, and kind of you don't care about that card if you're an aggressive deck. You should just play more proactive plays if possible. So let's see, we can present lethal if we go for the ninja, because we have 6 plus 3 from the bolt. So I'm going to go for it. First off, I'm going to hit them a bunch, and then we are going to bolt them. Yeah. So as you see, when this deck starts winning, it just wins. Like drawing 3-4 cards a turn is obscene. Most of the time, the opponent has some recurse, but in this case, they don't because they are an aggressive deck. So that's a way that we snowball out of control in the late game versus an aggressive deck, is with casting a lot of Ninja of the Deep Hours and just having so much card draw that they can't do anything. Yeah. So yeah, I think my sideboard plan was correct there. I'm not 100% sure ever on how I sideboard. But I think that was kind of correct. The Electricity looked kind of bad there, but actually if we had, instead of Fire Ice, we had the Electricity in turn 2, it was going to be the same thing, so that worked out. Yeah, so let us see how it goes in the next round.